Good morning. Good morning from Bangladesh. Uh, Thank you for the opportunity to really present in this conference. This is Raisul Safkat, and I have my co-author MD Jafor. Unfortunately, he is not here now in this moment. Our research is like a sustainable community common pool resource management through community enterprise approach, a pathway to community resilience in Bangladesh. So, how the context actually came into our mind. One thing that is very common nowadays is that like the climate change is a global reality affecting every corner of the world. So our focus was on like a resource and development, and we identified that climate change as a major barrier to sustainable development. So we really thought that what are the popular solutions? So what we were repeatedly getting is that building resilient communities. So we questioned that how to really build resilient communities. So from there we got the point that we need to increase the community resilience. So one of the main objective of this paper is like to assess how community based enterprises such as community enterprise approach enhance community resilience in climate vulnerable rural areas. So this is a very defined or the narrow down main objective. So we have some specific objective also, like measure and compare the community resilience index between CA community enterprise approach and non-CA areas, and examine how community-based enterprise initiatives impact key dimension of resilience. So the research question was like how can communities build resilience against climate change through sustainable common pool resource management and local enterprise model. So after understanding that okay, we need to go through more deep in community resilience, we started to look literature to understand the realm of resilience. So we really got many definitions like infrastructure resilience, general resilience. Then we really got to know community resilience, and from literature we actually focused on narrowing it down and understand and identify main components and factors of community resilience. So that this part was a bit challenging for us because like there was no very solid concrete definitions of community resilience, so we had to really find out lots of literature, and then we have comprehensively tried to fit in that how we can really define the community resilience. So we have found these dimensions of community resilience which are very crucial for defining community resilience, as well as very important for if we really work on community resilience. These are the dimension where we need to work on. It's like social capital, economic development, resource robustness, participation and collective action, active agents, leaders, community competency, information and communication channel. These are the dimensions where we really got into. And basically this slide is showing us that how in a very resilient community the conditions stays. So the desired conditions for community resilience: the availability, diversity, the robust and strong meaningful social relations. So we, yeah, this is really hard because every component and dimensions we really looked into, and there are like a vast literature in for all those components. So how these are actually engaging the community resilience, this is a very interesting thing, but in a very short time this is very hard to really explain the whole thing. So here we have just put some situation that how these things are contributing in the community resilience things. So the next things where we really got into our mind is like that, okay, we have understood the community resilience. Now how to really increase these factors or dimensions to really build a resilient community. So when we looked into literature, and after a thorough inspection and after a thorough reviewing, we found that Elinor Ostrom's eight principle of common pool resource management was really something giving us the hope that these factors are very related to that those principle. And with CPR management and following the Elinor Ostrom's principles, these dimensions of community resilience can be increased. So we have chosen Bangladesh context model. This was a very good work by Yamin Bayazid. He has written, like, he has produced two or three research paper on community enterprise approach and common pool resource management, along with the how this is following the Ostrom's principle. So in Bangladesh, community-based enterprise approach model in Daud Kandi has proven to be a successful example of sustainable common pool resource governance, effectively embodying the all eight of Ostrom's design principle. So we have chosen that one as a case study, and we have put the case study in our paper to really understand that how community enterprise approach are following those principles. And the main part was like how community enterprise approach, the Daudkandi model, is actually contributing to those factors of community resilience and how the relations work. So this is just at a glance what were the eight principle of linear Ostroms. So the defined boundaries, fit rules to local needs, monitoring, graduated sanction, conflict resolution, right to organize. So these are all related to those common community resilience factors, somehow how these are really contributing. And based on this linear Ostrom's eight principle, we have tried to build on that how we can do that. So this particular diagram and visual has been taken from Yamin Bajit's paper, and this actually depicts that how in Bangladesh, with the help of Shishuk NGO, the community enterprise approach is following the common pool resource management principles, as well as how contributing to other dimensions and factor. Here they have the case study is actually showcasing that in Bangladesh, floodplain is very available, and in the monsoon season, these are all inundated underwater. And when this become just like this become like actually in the monsoon season inundated with in water, so it becomes a common property, transferring from private property, it becomes a common pool resource. So how this common pool resource has been used by the community with the help of enterprising model. So that was the main thing. And this community enterprise approach has been our case to really understand that how in a conceptual framework this community enterprise approach and community resilience are working, and what are the relations, how this is affecting the factors and dimensions. So we have also conducted an empirical thing, so we will discuss that later. So here we have found out the main factors of the community enterprise approach. So in the presentation before, we have tried to explain what were the factors of community resilience, and here now we are trying to understand the dimensions and factors of community enterprise approach. So in that model, they actually raise social cap. They actually get us chance to increase the social capital. They collectively raise the fund for the project, and there they get the leadership, how they really manage the risk, how institutional approaches work there, and how the capacity, adaptive capacity and capacity building works there, how they actually use the resources with all the community as a ownership, and what is the role of the NGO. These were all those things. So we have found that these factors are in the community enterprise approach really strong to really present, and these are the factors where it really connects with the community resilience dimension. So this is just at a glance all the papers and all the references on different common pool resource managements models, and also particularly on CAEA community enterprise approach, the key references that how in different time with different researcher try to really understand the component of community enterprise approaches. Like here we can see, I mean, Bajit has established the relationship with the linear Ostrom's model, and Ahmed has wanted to understand the social capital thing. Political empowerment was done by the Mustaq Khan, voice engagement, collective action by Walker. So these were to really understand the community enterprise approach in the lens of other resources and literature reviews. So here we have tried to present the conceptual framework that the whole research is trying to really understand that how community enterprise model with its inbuilt factors and mechanisms or fundamental things are actually contributing to those factors of community resilience. So here we can see that how the resource sustainability contributing in the resource robustness, economic stability, and business diversity is contributing to the economic development thing. Risk management is increasing the community competency. These are the basic things. And later on, we try to understand with our empirical work that how this conceptual framework is also getting supported by the data we have used to understand it better, and with the community resilience scoring. So our research was conducted in Laksham sub-district, Kumilla, Bangladesh. So we had taken three community enterprise projects or areas, and have taken one area as control where there was no such concept like community enterprise approach, and those areas were very nearby and had the similar sort of characteristics, but one there wasn't any intervention, and in the other there were interventions from the past. So we have tagged along with Bangladesh BARD, Bangladesh Academy of Rural Development, and we have with their data we have tried to understand from the secondary data that um, how this is actually working with our conceptual framework. So this is just a visuals where we had conducted our study and everything. So as those things, like as we really didn't do any sort of intervention, and we have taken that sites as a natural art city sort of, and then we have actually tagged with Bangladesh Academy of Rural Development, and with the data of 204 from 145 from the projects areas or intervention areas, and from 59 from non-CA areas, control areas. We have tried to run the analysis. What we have done is to really build a community resilience index. From different literature we have understood that how they have worked with the community resilience things, though they had really diverse calculation methods, and the important fact was that they have chosen to give importance or different weights to different factors. But here we have tried to understand with give by giving equal importance to all the factors. This might have caused a bit inflated results, but definitely as we have done the same thing with both areas and control and treatment things. So we just wanted to understand the difference, that how this is affecting for the intervention and for the CA, how the resilience are working and how the factors are getting through this empirical thing. So we can see from the data that there is a very significant or noticeable difference in different factors like resource robustness in project area where the community enterprise approach is present. We are seeing like 0.84, but outside the project it's 0.50. These are mainly because how they are using the resources they are having in their community, how dynamics though those resources are. In case of social capital, we can see that we are having a score like 0.70. Outside the project, it's 0.45. So these are mainly caused because, like in the project areas, we have found the place and motivations and agendas of people getting connected with each other in the community very frequently. But in the outside of the project, there were no such physical or virtual arrangements, no common agendas to work on. So these factors have caused this variation in the scoring. Here we have tried to showcase like in a very in a brief form that which factors might have caused and which factors we have found through our quality studies that when we went for FGDs and we did KII. So there they have actually spoke about their community, and we have tried to identify those factors that how these things are related with the dimensions we are working on. So just at a glance, how different dimensions are getting affected in the project area and non-project area. Lastly, definitely there were lots of limitations as we were like a postgraduate student, and we had resource scarcity and other things. So in the limitation sector, definitely, as I have mentioned before, that challenge in assigning weights to components of community resilience in this, because in when we did the literature review, we found that basically different big development agencies or big research agencies, they have given different weights to different factors and different components by consultations and with the help of experts. But with our limited resources, those were difficult for us to really assign international or different experts of these dimensions. And so we have chosen to give a equal sort of importance and equal sort of weighting to understand the difference. And definitely absence of a universally accepted framework for measuring community resilience was an issue, because like in all those literatures we had found that different agencies, different countries have defined the community resilience in different way, and they have also applied different methodology to really understand the community resilience. So definitely there are lots of scope to do better studies and to go deeper in this the realm of community resilience. And definitely for Bangladesh, this is very important, because Bangladesh is one of the very vulnerable countries of the world facing the climate challenges. So how to really increase the community resilience and build it as a resilient communities for living with the crisis and living with climate change. This is very important. In the recommendation section, we really feel like that there is much scope to study further, and we feel like the prioritization of common pool resource management is important. Government should look into this matter, and they should really highlight those successful case studies which are in existence form. So these are all from my side. And lastly, I would really like to um, be thankful to my co-author and other people who have really given all the support to make it happen. And there we actually had another study previously in this conference that was also on community enterprise approach, and this has really given another dimension, and we really believe that this one has the capacity to really go further. Thank you so much.